you.
Incoming! That's down!
Time I fought Darth Vader? Well, you see, I fought Darth... Alright. So this takes place a little before A New Hope, but a long fucking time after Revenge of the Sith. So here's what happens. Darth Vader's being a prick, and he's like, yo, I'm gonna take over Earth. And I was like, oh, you ain't gonna fucking take over Earth, motherfucker. You see, because I fucking live here. And he's like, but I need to expand my empire, and you guys are here. So why don't I fucking do it? And I'm like, you see, you don't understand something. I live on fucking Earth, alright? So you need to fuck off. And he's like, no, you know what? Fuck you. And he starts force choking at me. I'm like, oh, no, I ain't down with that shit. So I take a bucket of dog shit, and I was like, yo, I was saving this for a special event, but I think this is good enough for you. And I throw that shit right into his face. It gets clogged up in his ventilator, and he was like, oh, motherfucker, my ventilator's covered in dog shit. You know how long it's gonna fucking take for this to get out of my fucking system, you asshole? So he takes out his lightsaber, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And I'm like, nah, you ain't gonna fucking kill me. You know why, motherfucker? You know why? Because I've got an AR-47. That's why. So I fucking shoot this motherfucker with my AR-47. And he's like, oh, shit. What the fuck, man? Those bullets move fast. They move a shit ton faster than those fucking puny lasers. I shot that motherfucker in the throat, and he was like, fuck, man. Now not only am I gonna smell shit for the rest of the month, I've got a fucking hole in my throat. Ah, this sucks. So he fucking left Earth, and he was like, I'll come back for you one day, motherfucker. But I swear to God, you do that again, and shit's on.
Reloading.
So I fought Darth Vader to the death by throwing dog shit and shooting him in the throat. It worked out for us.
Okay. You right? I reckon I've been better. You doing fine.
Thanks, man. Who's saying late?
Duke Nukem copied your technique. You damn right he did. That son of a bitch hasn't had an original idea of his own in fucking decades. Decades. You hear me? Calling you out, Duke. Get an original idea.
Everybody inside. And that is how you do it. Oh shit, this hurts.
Come on, youngin'.
The time me and Mega Man fought Clogged Toilet Man. You see, this story is actually pretty embarrassing because Clogged Toilet Man actually exists because of me. You see, I went on this food-eating rampage one day, and I was just like, oh, motherfucker, I am hungry. And the next day, I took this shit. It was the most watery, stinkiest, and yet most liquid, solid mess you've ever seen. I mean, this shit came out of my colon, and my colon was like, oh, thank you, Jesus, finally. So I take this shit out, and I was like, motherfucker, finally, that shit is gone. Well, it turns out that shit, when left in the toilet and not flushed, because I kind of forgot to flush because I was distracted by my N900, I had porn on it, so it was just like, yeah, fucking porn, right? Turns out when you do that and don't flush, fucking shit grows. And, like, not even fucking, like, gets moss and shit on it. Shit fucking grows, alright? And it turns out that it actually grew so much that it actually flushed itself. And that's how it became Clogged Toilet Man. So I was like, shit, Clogged Toilet Man. This is a job for me and Mega Man. And I called my Blue Bomber buddy up, and he was like, yo, what's up? And I was like, yo, I shit in the toilet. And he was like, well, that's cool. What do you need? And I was like, well, I shit in the toilet so hard that it actually made a new robot overlord. And he was like, well, fuck, man, that's a hell of a shit. You alright? And I'm like, yeah, it's alright. A little blood came out, but it was nothing major. That'd be cool. And he was like, alright, well, that's cool, man. So I was like, well, listen, anyway, I could definitely use your help. You see, he's Clogged Toilet Man, and He's fucking shit up for everyone around here. And he was like, yeah, man, I'm fucking down with that. So that motherfucker gets his helmet on. He was like, I'm a fuck up shit with Clogged Toilet Man. And I was like, fuck yeah. So he comes over my house, and he was like, yo, Clogged Toilet Man, we are getting down. This motherfucker, he's insane. The Blue Bomber's just nuts. This motherfucker jumps directly into the toilet and goes down the drain. And I was like, bitch, are you fucking crazy? You don't want a hazmat suit or anything? He's like, nah, man, I'm Mega Man. I got it. It's cool. So this motherfucker, he just jumps right the fuck in. And he's like, pa-pow, 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 I'm Mega Man, bitch. I'm Mega Man. And the next thing you know, I hear an explosion and boom, Clogged Toilet Man gone. With half of my house, because he blew up not only Clogged Toilet Man, but... well, you know, half the fucking house, so, well, live and learn, I guess. Still, it was a great experience for me, and I know that from now on, whenever I take a shit, I had better well goddamn flush the toilet, and if I really need to, I'll flush in sequences. That is a tank! Hello, Mr. Tank. Oh, well, if you guys want to know, Mega Man actually got the form of shit power, and what he does is Mega Man bends over, and he just lets one fucking loose out of his ass, and it covers the entire screen in shit, and every enemy instantly fucking corrodes. It's pretty cool. Yeah, people are sneaking into the single player. It's pretty cool. I like it. It's alright. Tells the story of the time you reset Cody Rhodes' nose in Fort Rey Mysterio. I didn't reset Cody Rhodes' nose. I didn't do anything of the sort. What are you talking about? Where's my fucking weapon? Is my weapon around here? Come on.
Reloading.
Hi guys. I have a weapon here. Hello. You shooting at, you retard.
Reloading.
I can use these pills.
Ancient temple in search of treasure. Alright, well, I can tell you about the one time I searched an ancient temple in search of treasure. You see, well, is this public knowledge yet? Yeah, alright, it's public knowledge at this point. Where the fuck am I going? I'm so lost. Go this way, I guess. Alright, so you see, a long time ago, I decided to travel to South America, because I was like, you know what's really cool? Fucking South America, man. They got awesome shit. And I was like, yo, I'm going the wrong way. Okay, so I gotta go this way. I was like, you know, these motherfuckers, they got treasure everywhere. I'm like, you don't know how fucking good they got it. So I was like, let's go down to South America, let's get some of their fucking ancient treasure. So I went to this ancient city of I never really could pronounce the name, I don't really give a shit either. But we went down to this ancient city, it's this lost fucking city, it's like underneath an old city, that's how fucking lost and ancient and old it is. So you can't really find it on a map, but it's still pretty fucking cool, right? We went down there, and this place is trapped to heaven and hell. There are like fucking corpses everywhere, and you're like, oh, what's up? That's just a corpse. We could just leave it alone. And it's like, turns out, no, that ain't just a corpse. You can't just leave it alone. You gotta shift that motherfucker around, otherwise the boulder's gonna come down, smack you on the head, and rape you to death. Yeah, that's right. Fucking corpses that rape you to death. How much of a mindfuck is that? Anyway. Anyway, we started exploring this ancient treasure land, and it was like, yo, there ain't nothing here but fucking corpses and traps. And I was like, hey, you know, you'd think you'd find maybe some treasure or something. Well, it turns out we didn't have the right treasure map. We brought the wrong treasure map. We were actually looking at Indiana Jones' treasure map, so that was kind of stupid of me, I realized. But hey, you know, what are you gonna do? You live and learn, right? Turns out that Indiana Jones' treasure map was actually useful for something, and that something was finding an awesome motherfucking axe. I mean, this axe was fucking awesome. And when I say awesome, I mean just ridiculously fucking awesome. This fucking axe actually lit people on fire when you hit them with it. That's how awesome this fucking axe was. It was like, boom, you're on fire. Not only did you just lose an arm and a leg, you're on motherfucking fire, motherfucker. It was a badass axe, man. I kind of miss it, actually. I wish I still had that axe. Team Fortress 2 stole the axe from me. I'm really, really upset. But hey, whatever, you know. It was a cool axe. It was worth a lot of money, and I shouldn't have sold it to Microsoft for the $10 I got it for, but whatever. Anyway, that's my story of going to South America and stealing treasure. Oh, but, I would watch out, though, guys, especially when you go to the meetup this year. I am cursed, and it turns out that everybody that touches my left eyeball for whatever reason, they lose sight in their right eyeball. I don't quite know why.
Being surrounded.
Where'd it go? Ow!
Can you stop shooting?
Tell us how he launched a midget off a cliff. Sorry. Tell us how he launched a midget. That's because you say, "Why you poke me, bitch?" and stab in the eye. Yeah, that's... Well, yeah, I mean... But it's still a curse. I mean, it's an uncontrollable thing. I have to do that. Every time you poke me in the eye, I've got to do it. It's not like I can contain myself or anything. It's, "Why you poke me, bitch?" and then stab in the eye.
Reloading.
How many fucking explosives of ammo do I need to put into you? Alright, she's dead. Hooray.
Hey, I'm reloading. Reloading.
Story how you launched the midget off a cliff and was able to use your mind powers to save him. Well, this actually goes back to the first time I ever found out that I was actually psychic, and I decided, you know what, with my new telepathic powers, I really needed to test them out. So I figured, what's the best way to test these telepathic powers out? And I was like, you know what, why don't I just throw a midget off a cliff? And not just, like, physically throw him off a cliff, but I mean, like, fucking throw a midget off a cliff. So I decided, alright, I'll fucking do this. I'm gonna throw a midget off a cliff. So I get this midget, his name's like... or something, I don't know. I don't pay attention to people's names. I'm not a big people person, okay? And Mr. was like, "Yo, dude, what you doing?" And I was like, "Yo, we're going to a cliff and I'm gonna throw you off it." And he was like, "What? Why?" And I was like, "'Cause you're a midget and I'm gonna throw you off a cliff." And then he was like, "No." And I was like, "Yeah, it's a little too late for that. Because we're on a cliff and you're a midget and I'm gonna throw you off."
Reloading.
So I thought for a couple of seconds, and all of a sudden this midget's fucking levitating in the air, and I was like, "Yo, you're a midget," and he was like, "Yo, I'm a midget and I'm floating," and I was like, "Yeah, yo, a midget, you floating, and you about to be thrown off a cliff," and he was like, "Shit." So I fling this motherfucker off the cliff, and he was like, "Ah, I'm a midget and I'm falling off a cliff, ah!" Then I was like, "Yeah, you are." But then I felt a pang of regret. I mean, I just fucking threw a midget off a cliff. I mean, what the fuck did I do that for? So I decided to save it, and I was just like, "Oh, wow, 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 wow," and I saved the midget from falling to his death. I brought him back up on the cliff, and he's been my friend ever since. Also, I may or may not have brainwashed him. I have never been in a midget porno, no. But Arclight has. Actually, that's actually an interesting story how